I'm so excited. This one is near to me, and so tonight I am so grateful that we get to have Winn come in and present to you guys. A couple things I want to share with you before we bring them up here. I won't be long because I think you're not able to see me. But hey, thanks. A little ago, I was in a public school, just like this, different state, California, but I was in school. You know, when I started school, it became really, really apparent to me that I was not naturally gifted as a hairdresser. And there's probably still women to this day in Orange County that would attest to that. But I was going through school, I was halfway through school, and I just felt like everything about me wasn't what you'd think a hairdresser would be. And so it was, honestly, some days it was difficult. I drove 2 hours to school one way from San Diego to Orange County, 4 hours a day in the car. And yeah, just showing up some days was a victory at the time for me. So anyways, I'm at school. I went to night school, so you guys know.
Woo! Yeah.
Because I worked during the day, and I worked on the weekends, and I went to school at nights in order to afford the gas money to get back and forth. I found Palmerston School because I got a part-time job at the front desk. And I'm noticing as I working at the front desk, everybody's showing up happy, positive. I'm like, what is this? Nobody's happy at work. This just isn't how things go. And so the thought of just being happy at work was enough for me. I didn't even know hairdressers could make money when I started school, to be honest. It's just like, there's happiness here, and that mattered more to me than money, to be honest. As a 23-year-old, like I'd done my freshman year of junior college several times. And so I just wasn't sure what to do with life. Anyways, Winn comes in and teaches a class. And you can't avoid a don't though, so you tell me don't cry, and then you're gonna cry. Anyways, he comes in and teaches this class, and it was a class, one of the things about empowerment and believing in yourself. And what I realized is that for the first time ever, I could. You know, I used to think like I wanted to do all these big things, but how could I do a big thing if I couldn't even get through a day in school? And so I started to make 10% shifts. I started believing myself differently, and I ended up being a really good hairdresser. And I ended up being able to do so many things. In that class, I remember writing down different goals I had, and I remember being a little red in the face, hoping nobody saw how big I was thinking at the time when I was in school, when I thought I was struggling. And I found that paper several years ago, and I used to look at it occasionally. Now I don't even look at it anymore because I did everything on that list, and so I wrote a new list. And so tonight, whether you feel good, whether the energy is with you, or whether you feel like maybe life is against you, I just want to let you just pause for a minute and open your heart and open your mind and allow yourself to take in this information and this message. I forgot what I was going to say there. Emotional pause. And to take in this message. Because it wasn't that just because I had that one class and then that permanently changed my life. It's because I made a lot of decisions. And this information, if you make decisions based off it, will improve your life. And you can go on to do anything you really, really want to. And so that's all I have to say about that. Without any further ado, let's bring out Mr. Winn Claybaugh.
I'm clapping. Deal with the shade.
Wow, thank you, everybody. Oh my gosh, haven't even done anything yet, and I got a standing ovation. My gosh. You know, everybody should start their workday off like that. You know what I mean? Anything, and people are excited that you showed up. Yeah, a lot of people, they don't get that. Even at home, for most, who's the most enthusiastic member of their family? Their dog. Can't wait to see you. Doesn't care that you smell, that you have no money. Your dog isn't. How many have dogs? You can leave your house, go to the mailbox, and then come right back. How does your dog greet you?
Super.
You're here. We should all greet each other at school every single night like that, right? Except for that licking thing.
Yeah, don't do that.
Or maybe the licking thing would help each other feel welcome to school at night. You know, whatever it takes. We are Paul Mitchell after all. Yeah, because we know that little kids need that. Because I think that acknowledgement is a basic human need. It's right up there with oxygen. And we know that little kids need that. Like I've seen my friend sending her little kids off to school in the morning, and as they are walking out the door, of course, she's praising them, acknowledging them. She's encouraging them. She is saying things to them like, "Oh, honey, you look so cute today. You're going to have so much fun at school. You're going to make some new friends today. You're going to do so good on your assignments." Then she turns to her husband, "Bye, see ya." What about him? Do we ever arrive at a point in life where we no longer need that praise, that encouragement? I don't believe so. Now, can you imagine if she turned to him and said, "Honey, your ass in that suit looks so hot." He'd walk out the door like... And I think that we need that every single day. I'll tell you, it's one of the things that I love the most about the Paul Mitchell School culture, is that we are a culture about acknowledging each other, celebrating. We have a Katya board. We find any excuse to throw a party in a Paul Mitchell school. And I think that's important because I heard it once said that hairdressers go to work every single day with the intention of having fun. Do you think that dentists are thinking that? We're going to have fun today. You know, in the beauty industry, we get to break all of those rules. Like out there, if you're laughing or having fun at work in some companies, what does that mean? You're not working. Back to work. No fun around here. Can you imagine? Did you know that out there are companies that have rules that you cannot work with friends and family members? Like two siblings cannot work for the same company, and if you start to date somebody at work, one of you has to quit. Those are the rules. I would have no company. The Paul Mitchell School world is filled with my friends, my family members, and I have school partners all over the country. My full-time job is with the Paul Mitchell schools, and so I'm always on the phone with them and interacting. Micah, how do you and I end every single phone call? Love you. Love you. Do you think that accountants are doing that? I love you, dude. We get to break those rules. That TGIF thing, that was invented by people who are not in the beauty industry. That was invented by people who hate their lives Monday through Friday, and they can't wait until the weekend to then go do what they love to do with the people that they love spending time with. You read any book on how to be successful, every book will teach you to follow your heart. Follow the money will follow. And so, you know, as the Dean of Paul Mitchell Schools, I really want to congratulate you. You made that decision. And I have a feeling that some of you made a decision to enter this industry, even though you had friends and family members trying to see. But you're still doing it. You're following your heart. And you better believe that will pay off for you. So now I'm not a hairdresser. I've never been a hairdresser. I started my company 30 years ago. How many of you weren't even born yet? Yeah, whatever. Now, I never went to college, not one day of college. I barely, and I mean barely, graduated from high school. Apparently, they want you to show up. I was busy. Now, here I am 30 years later, never went to college, not a hairdresser, and yet I make a lot of money. I get to travel the world. I get to have a lot of fun. I get to meet some famous people. In the last 5 years alone, I have been invited to speak at Yale University, UCLA, Brigham Young University. The last Monday and Tuesday, I was at the University of Nebraska in Lincoln. I never went to college, but now major universities invite me to come and speak there. Oh, and they get this. I am the youngest recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award from the North American Hairdressing Association, and I'm not even a hairdresser. But are you ready for this? You guys, not once in my entire 30-year career has anybody ever asked to see my resume. You guys, nobody has any idea if I'm even qualified to be doing this. Because nobody ever asked, nobody ever checked up on me. All they ever knew about me was, you know, Winn is kind of excited. Let's just work with Winn because he's very excited. All they ever knew was I'm excited. Some people tell me that I make coffee nervous. But you know, I like that about myself. And have you noticed that sometimes people want to take that away from you? Like, have you ever showed up really happy and it pisses people off?
Yeah.
Why are you so happy? Yeah, I just have a lot of energy. Let me tell you something. ADD has been very, very good to me. Yeah, put that on your resume. You know, I share this with you because I don't believe that this is an industry based on your resume. First of all, anybody can make a resume look good. This is not about your resume. This is an industry based on your passion, based on your desire. And I meet people and they're like, yeah, Winn, yeah, I'm passionate. Really? Tell your face, because I can't see it right now. I used to have this big, long list of things that I would look for in hiring somebody. I used to say, well, if they're going to work for me, I want them to have these degrees, these certifications, this job experience. Well, I found people who had all of those things on their resume, but they were a little bit bitter. Do you know the type of person I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay, if they're in the room right now, don't look at them. These people that show up to work, they show up to school, and they're just a little bit bitter. And by the way, you can see them coming a mile away, because that bitterness is like baggage. It weighs them down. And they walk into school, and they're like, oh, you think your life is so bad? Wait to hear what's going on with me. And let me tell you about her. And then they drag you in the lunchroom, and they're like, this school sucks. And because you're hanging out with them, 5 minutes later you're thinking, maybe this school does suck. Do you know people like this? Yeah, you know, I used to think that it was my job to fix and change these negative, bitter people. That is not my job, and it's not your job either. I now stay far away from negative, bitter people for the same reason why I stay away from violent films and spicy foods, because those things do not make me feel good about myself. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, this is a lot of hard work. I'm 55 years old, and I have a 2.5-year-old daughter. That's a lot of work. Yeah.
Oh, God.
I'm a dad. Isn't that cool? I'm a dad. I know. So now when people say, who's your daddy? They're actually talking to me now. So. You know, to have energy is a lot of work. To be happy every single day is a lot of work. And I don't know one successful person who has achieved that success all on their own. However you define success, whether it's as a human being, as a parent, financially in business, however you define success, I don't know one successful person who has achieved that success all on their own. You can watch any awards show where they call people to the stage to accept their award. Now, when they stand at that podium, what is their speech? Is their speech, I am winning this award tonight because I am freaking brilliant? Is that their speech?
Oh.
Unless they're Kanye. Is that their speech? No, what's their speech? Thinking. Yeah, I'm winning this award tonight because of this person. There is no way I could have made this happen without this person, this person, this person. So my question to all of you is, who are those people in your life right now? First of all, do you have those people in your life right now? Because some of you might have people in your life right now who, when you screw up, they can't wait to tell other people about it. So not only do you not have the people that you need that believe in you, when sometimes you have a difficult time believing in yourself, and we all go there, some of you might have the opposite of that. Some of you might have people who are trying to take this away from you. And I heard it once said, that people who have abandoned their dreams will try to steal yours. So I'm going to ask this question of you a lot tonight. Who influences you? Who influences you? You show me right now, your circle of friends, the people that you are choosing to spend time with right now, and I'll tell you exactly where you're going to be in a year from now and 10 years from now. You show me that circle of friends, I'll tell you how much money is going to be in your bank account in 10 years from now. I'll tell you what your marriage is going to look like, what your self-esteem will be about, all based on who influences you right now today. And so maybe some of you have to make that difficult decision about who should be in your life and maybe who should not be in your life. Because at the end of the day, you guys, it's messy out there. Have you noticed? It's messy. We all need a lot of help. We need to be surrounded by people that love us and believe in us. And then we do the same thing for them. You know, when I was in the salon business for 2 years, this woman who worked for me in those first 2 years, one day privately pulled me aside. And she said, Winn, I want you to know that for the last 20 years, I have been in this very abusive marriage. But because of working here for the last 2 years, I now have the courage to divorce this man. And I was like, huh? Winn, I've been in this horrible marriage. But for the last 2 years, when I come to work every day, I feel loved. I feel safe. I feel like I matter. And because of that, I now have the courage to divorce this man. Let me tell you something. That was a huge wake-up call for me. Because up until that point, I thought that my only role, my only responsibility as a business owner or leader was to create a place where people come to earn a paycheck. And what she taught me that day was the responsibility that I have, and by the way, you all have the same responsibility, to create a safe, loving environment for each other. Because you have to ask yourself, what kind of a culture do you want to belong to? Do you want to walk into school or walk into the salon and feel like, ooh, I have to avoid those people over there because they're gossiping about me. I have to avoid those over there because they're haters and they're poisoning me, right? Or do you want to walk in here and think, wow, I feel safe here. We're all so different. Every size, every age, every color, every lifestyle, every belief system, and we all belong here. If that's what you want, if that's what you want to belong to, guess what? That's your responsibility to create that. Because at the end of the day, if there's gossiping going on in the lunchroom, I'm not in there. Mike is probably not in there. But who is there? You're there. So what are you doing about that? You have that responsibility to create that wonderful, safe, loving environment for each other. And that's what we do for each other. That's part of the Palm Mitchell School culture. And by the way, because we hear this all the time, right, Micah? They graduate, and the next day they're on our doorstep. I don't want to leave, right? Dale, you were telling me the same thing. They don't ever want to leave. They go to the salon. And that culture doesn't exist in that salon. Well, then what does that mean? You make it happen. That's why you're taught culture here in the Palm Mitchell School, because you will take this belief system and you will teach it, you'll implement it wherever you go. So I love it when I walk into a Palm Mitchell school and a future professional comes up to me and they're like, hi, Winn, I'm so-and-so, and I'm a visionary. Good to know. Good to know, because let me tell you something. I need to know who my visionaries are. Because first of all, I'm very energy sensitive. And what I mean by that is, whomever I am hanging around, I will start to take on their attitudes, their moods, even their ideas. How many of you like this as well? Yeah, so I know that there's people I can hang around and some I need to stay away from. Like I was once in Las Vegas, and I was in this buffet line. I was going down the line, happily putting food on my plate. Well, this woman next to me, this stranger, was like, ooh, this place sucks. I'm not going to eat that. Ooh, that looks terrible. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. I started to put food back. Yeah, who the hell are you? All of a sudden I turned into her. I turned into a negative food critic. And prior to that, I was so happy to be there. Here's a simple question for all of you. If you want to be on the dean's list, who should you be hanging around with right now? People who want to be on the dean's list. If you want to go to Caper, who should you be hanging around with right now?
People going to Caper.
People who want to go to Caper. See, by the way, not everybody wants to make it to the dean's list. Not everybody wants to go to Caper. Remember, people who have abandoned their dreams will not try to steal yours. And by the way, I don't know why every single one of you are not pursuing dean's list. I mean, what are you going to say to that employer Did you complete the dean's list? Well, no, I just didn't want to be bothered with that. I mean, you're all spending the same tuition dollar. You're all clocking the same number of hours. Why wouldn't you want to pursue the dean's list and take full advantage of every single educational opportunity that is presented to you? All of you should be pursuing the dean's list. All of you should. What are you waiting for? This is your chance. This is your opportunity. So I mentioned the word visionary, because as you all know, we divide people into 3 different categories. The first category is what we call a visionary. A visionary. See, at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, how bad do you really want this? Thinking that you can just clock in and clock out, not pursue dean's list, not get involved in that program, and that's all that it takes to be a success in this industry, you're wrong. You're wrong. It takes a lot more than that. How many of you know who Gene Braw is? How many of you know who Robert Cromings is? Gene Braw trained Robert Cromings. When Gene retired from the beauty industry, she was on the cover of American Salon magazine with Vidal Sassoon and Trevor Sorby, probably the most famous female hairdresser on the planet at the time. Before she retired, she asked me if I would do a seminar for her staff in San Diego, and she asked me if I would swing by and pick her up to go to this seminar. I get to Gene Braw's house, I knock on the door, get this. Gene Braw was at home alone, practicing on a mannequin head. Famous hairdresser, right up to the end of her career, was still fine-tuning her craft, her skills. And I share that because every once in a while, I'll overhear a future professional, after only 6 months, they're like, do I still have to work on this mannequin head? And I'm like, you know what? You better get comfortable with that mannequin head. It is your companion for life. Spouses may come and go. But that mannequin head is there for the rest of your life. How many of you know who Vivian McKinder is? How famous is that woman? I've been to her home. In her basement, I counted like 20 mannequin heads set up. Vivian, what's this all about? Well, I go down there almost every single night. I'm practicing, I'm creating, I'm fine-tuning. In other words, your bedroom should be full of mannequin heads.
Starting.
Don't take a date there, you'll freak them out. But again, how bad do you want this? See, and I understand how society works nowadays, that if you're a little kid on the Little League team, everybody gets a trophy. Is that real life?
No.
No. So what I'm saying is, some of you will get the trophy. The good news is, it's available for all of you. But maybe only some of you are going to get the trophy. How bad do you want this? How many of you know who David LaChapelle is? He's a famous photographer. He does music videos. He produced Elton John's show in Las Vegas. Now, do I know David LaChapelle? Duh, I know everybody. Okay, so this has happened to me twice. One time he was shooting J-Lo's music video. Another time he was shooting Christina Aguilera's music video, the one called Nasty. No.
Dirty.
Dirty. Nasty is the other one. So he called me, hey Winn, I'm shooting Christina tomorrow. Can you send like 20 of your students to help out doing hair and makeup? David, I'll get right on it. So I go to the local Palmetto school and I'm like, okay, you, definitely you, you, come with me. Winn, where are we going? Oh, you're going to David LaChapelle's studio today to help out doing hair and makeup for Christina Aguilera's music video. And those 20 were like, woo! Now the other future professionals were like, Winn, why didn't you choose me? Because I didn't know that you had that desire. The 20 that I chose, they have been bugging me for months. Winn, if an opportunity ever comes up, choose me, choose me, choose me. You guys, by the way, I was not invited to come to your school. I invited myself.
Woo! Woo! Good, because we wanted you here.
Quit waiting for the phone to ring. The phone does not ring. You make the phone ring. Thinking that dropping off your resume at a salon is going to get you your dream career? It's a lot more than that. You have to put it out there. You put it out there to whoever will listen. This is who I am. This is what I want. These are my goals. Here's my commitment. Here's what I will do for you. You have to put that out there a lot. Now, the 20 that I chose to go to David LaChapelle's studio that day, what was their attendance like in school? Perfect. Perfect. What was their appearance like every single day?
On point.
Fashionable, professional. Like some of you looking at this audience right now, some of you, I could pull you out of this audience and put you into the most expensive salon working in New York City, and you would absolutely fit in. And some of you, not so much. I'm the dean, I'm here to tell you the truth. And yet you all chose the fashion industry, correct? You have to look the part. And I hear every excuse. When, I don't like wearing makeup. I'm like, well then be a nurse. I mean, why are you in my school?
That is bad. I love it.
You have to look the part. Would you trust a dentist that didn't have any teeth?
No.
Or when I can't afford it. Do you have to spend a lot of money to look good? No, there's some people like for $10 they can go to a vintage store and just come out looking amazing, right? You have to look the part. And who cares about your stupid excuses of why you don't look the part tonight? If you're good at coming up with excuses, you will never be good at anything else. Okay, back to the 20 that I chose for David's studio. Were they part of the student design team? Phase 2? Did they go to Caper? Did they enter Naha and Beacon? Were they pursuing Dean's List? See, what would have happened had I chose 19 visionaries to go to David's studio, but then one that I chose really hadn't proven herself as a visionary yet, and so she shows up late to the studio, dressed inappropriately, took a bunch of cigarette breaks, gossiping on the set. Would David ever call me again? No. So not only did I blow it, for the other 19, I would have blown it for any future opportunity. Remember they tried to teach us that we should not play favorites? I play favorites. Big time. Who do I play favorites to?
Visionaries.
The visionaries. Does society play favorites? Yeah, well then how about if you become the favorite? How about if you get noticed? And I'm going to teach you how to do that. See, a lot of people, they work on their wishbone. I wish I were prettier. I wish I were taller, skinnier, more talented, had different parents, had more money, more opportunity. Quit working on your wishbone. Instead, work on your backbone. I have never assumed that I'm the smartest person in a room. But you know what? I can be the most positive person in a room. How far is that going to get me? Oh, yeah. I've never assumed that I'm the prettiest person in a room. But you know what? I can work really, 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 really hard. How far is that going to get me? So far. I've never assumed that I'm the most talented person. You think I'm going to let that hold me back? No. Because I can show a lot of gratitude. I can live a life of gratitude. I can work on myself constantly. Sometimes business leaders will come to me and they're like, Winn, how can I become a better leader? And sometimes my answer is lose weight, join a gym, quit smoking, fix your marriage, do a cancer walk. Because without working on those things, you lose credibility. Work on your backbone. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. That was the longest introduction ever, don't you think? So, I am not the type of person who believes that people are out to get me. I've never been that way because my mom is this loving, trusting individual, even of strangers. I am the type of person who believes that people want to do the right thing. Now, because I am the type of person who believes that people want to do the right thing, what type of people do I attract? People who want to do the right thing. You see, if you are the type of person who believes that people are out to get you, what type of people do you attract?
People that are out to get you.
Yeah, because how many of you believe that what you focus on starts to grow? How many of you believe that what you think a lot about, you'll actually bring that into your reality? Like you have a goal to buy a new red car, all of a sudden there are red cars everywhere. Now, is it that there are more red cars out there? No. It's just that because you're thinking about it a lot, you bring it into your reality. By the way, the same thing happens with negativity. You think about negativity, you bring it into your reality. Just thought you might like to know, I didn't make this stuff up. How many of you believe in the law of attraction? That what you put out there in thoughts, words, action, and behavior is exactly what comes back to you. And see how many hands were up? Because there's this awareness now about the law of attraction because of a great book and then a film and then Oprah did a show about it, about the law of attraction, which if you've never heard of it before, it's very simple. What it means is what you put out there comes back to you. Just thought you might like to know. What you're putting out there is coming back to you. So for our purposes tonight, we all need to take inventory of what we put out there on a daily basis. Because the reason why we are gathered here tonight, the purpose of all education is to change behavior. Meaning, if you all walk out of here tonight and nothing changes, did you learn anything?
Nope.
No. Same thing happens when you attend a haircutting class. When that class ends, something's different. Something has to change. You stand differently, you part the hair differently, you have a different dialogue with your guests. Something has to change immediately, and that's how you learn and grow. So I want you to be thinking of what's going to be different when you walk out of here tonight. And by the way, we have to be on a fast track with that growth, with that change. Because how many of you believe that time is speeding up? Yeah, kids today at 12 years old know more than you knew at 21. Isn't that true? And the problems that used to come up in your life in the course of a year, those problems now come up in about 3 days. Have you noticed this? Why? Time is speeding up. I used to make the mistake that I would hear a great idea, something that's going to help me personally or professionally, and I would think to myself, that is such a good idea. I'm going to implement it November 1st. Yeah, November 1st, I'm going to get so busy with that idea. You guys, when do we need to get busy?
Now.
Right now. Right now. And by the way, how we look at change in our Palm Mitchell schools is as a 10% shift. Let me explain this. See, sometimes we can get overwhelmed with all the things that we have to work on, especially, beware of this, especially if you are comparing yourself to somebody else and you're thinking, oh my gosh, if I'm ever going to be that good, I have so much work I have to do. And when you compare yourself to somebody else, you get overwhelmed. When you get overwhelmed, you can sometimes get paralyzed, which means nothing's changing, nothing's improving. 3 years from now, you're still dealing with the same stuff. You're still a smoker. Your relationships still don't work. Your self-esteem is still under attack. Nothing's improved. So let's start over. Look at change as a 10% shift. Meaning, when you all walked in here tonight, here's where you were. After my class tonight, you're going to go here. From here to here. A 10% shift. Could you all handle a 10% shift? Yeah, you could handle that. But let me tell you something. Let me promise you something. When you are willing to do your part, when you are willing to make that 10% shift, it's almost as if the entire universe opens up to you. It's like the universe is thinking, oh, wow, okay. Now she's ready. Now he is willing. And before you know it, things start getting added upon you. The right mentor shows up. The right opportunity just falls into your lap. But what are you responsible for in order to make that happen? Making your 10% shift. How many of you believe, and I mean deep in your heart, in your gut, in your soul believe, that it is the right of every human being on this planet to be happy? How many of you believe that? Really? Including you? Yeah. See, because some people have that belief for other people, but when it comes to their own life and how they think about themselves, they're like, I only deserve a little bit of happiness. I only deserve to make a little bit of money. I only deserve to be in this abusive relationship. You guys, at the end of the day, the universe or God, whatever you want to call it, does not play favorites. I don't believe that God's up there thinking, I really would love to make you happy, but your mother was such a... I just can't work with that. If we were to go around the room right now, I bet each one of us have a story to tell. I bet each one of us have a story to tell as to why we should not be happy, as to why we should not be successful. But the good news is your story, whatever that story looks like, does not have to equal who you are today, and it certainly does not have to determine who you're going to be tomorrow. In fact, sometimes it's because you do have a story to tell, it's because some not so good things happened to you in the past, that today has made you more passionate, more focused, more determined. You know that story that you like to tell on occasion, or that some people tell? You know that story, the woe is me story? Like you start to tell the story and your friends are like, oh my God, here she goes again. You know that story I'm talking about? Here's my greatest wish for you. That you get bored with that story. That you get to the point where you're like, you know what? Yeah, it's part of my past. Yeah, it kind of sucks, but it's not who I am today. I'm not a victim. It's not who I am today. That's my greatest wish for you. Move on from that. So we need to spend time talking about the law of attraction. I love having little kids as my mentors because when it comes to something like the law of attraction, little kids just naturally know to put good things out there, right? Like somebody gives you a compliment, hey, you look really nice tonight. And then you respond with, no, I don't. This old thing. Not till I lose these thighs. Like you can't even take in a simple compliment. See, if you said that to a little kid, hey, you look really nice. I know. You know, how many of you have little kids at home? You guys do this. Ask a little child what makes them happy. They could go on and on about what makes them happy. True? Ask the average adult what makes them happy. I can tell you what pisses me off.
Hey.
You could have a room full of kindergarten kids, and if you ask all those 5-year-olds, okay, how many of you are really good at art? How many hands are going to go up?
All of them?
Okay, how many of you are really good at playing a musical instrument? How many hands?
All of them.
Now, if I had a room full of adults and I asked them, how many of you are really good at playing a musical instrument? Winn, here's the deal. I took piano lessons for like 20 years, but no, I'm just not good at that. Like, where do we lose it? Like, we play small. Playing small on any level, who does that serve? Serves no one. And what do I mean by you play small? You don't volunteer. You don't show up. You don't say yes. You play small, and that serves no one. Little kids, they play big. You know, my daughter opening up her birthday gifts. What does she want to play with? The box. Boxes are cool. Right? Kids play big. I have 80 nieces and nephews.
What?
No, I really do. 80. They all live in Utah. Go figure.
Oh.
By the way, I am the favorite uncle. Duh.
Of course.
Cost me a lot of money, but I'm the favorite uncle. And the reason why is, I don't know about you guys, but I can get way too serious. How many of you like this as well? I get way too serious. We get so serious about stupid stuff, right? Well, little kids, they teach me to be silly, a little irresponsible. When I'm hanging out with the family, I don't want to sit with the adults. I want to sit with the kids. And I'm not sitting with the kids at a fancy restaurant trying to teach them how to be all proper. I'm like, what do you guys want to do? Because my world's way too serious. I want to enter their fun world, right? So kids are my mentors. What are you putting out there? I think it's a bad habit that some people have, that when somebody asks them how they're doing, their standard response is always, I'm really tired. I'm just tired. How you doing? I'm tired. I'm so tired. Come on, how many of you do this? It's a really bad habit.
No.
Because that's how you always respond. I'm really tired. How are you going to feel every day?
Tired.
Yeah, big surprise. Like if you wake up in the morning and the first thought out of your head is, wow, why am I so tired this morning? And that's the first question you ask yourself. Within a minute, you will have the answer. Do you know why? Your brain is the most powerful search engine for you. You ask the question, it'll find the answer. Why am I so tired? Well, you're tired because of this, this, and this. Yeah. Why am I so stupid? Well, you're stupid because of this, this, and this. Meaning, when you ask yourself a bad question, what do you get back?
Bad answers.
Bad answer. How many of you talk to yourself?
All day, every day.
Yeah, and those that didn't raise their hand are thinking, no, I never talk to myself. We all talk to ourselves. And I don't know about you guys, for me it's not just one voice. Well, there's a whole committee up here.
I have
one is, hey, you're really awesome, Winn. No, you're not.
I get them out.
What are you putting out there in your thoughts? Because what you're putting out there in your thoughts is coming back to you. By the way, who controls your thoughts?
You.
Do you really? Because I know people who plop in front of the TV and whatever negative reality show is on now becomes their thought process, meaning they surrendered the decision of what they're going to spend the next hour thinking about by watching that show. And by the way, do those thoughts end when the TV show ends? No, they continue on. And by the way, whatever you think about it, 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 eventually you will take action on what you think about, correct? Now, you repeat the same action over and over and over again. What does that become? A habit. Now you're doing things without even thinking about it. You're on autopilot. Your habits form your character, and your character will determine your destiny. And where did that all start? With your thoughts. You want to control your destiny? Control your thoughts. And what do I mean by controlling your destiny? Where do you want to end up? I always ask that question of future professionals. What are your goals? And sometimes it's like, I don't know. You have to know.
Disney.
You have to know. Where do you want to end up? Like, how many of you want to make a lot of money? Okay, about half of you. All right. You know, people who say that they don't care to make a lot of money, I believe that they would lie about other things as well. You guys, there's nothing wrong with you wanting to make a lot of money. Why do we sometimes, as society, associate poverty with spirituality? I don't get that. There is nothing spiritual about not being able to pay your bills. Yeah, I don't believe that money can buy you happiness, but you know what? It can buy you a better form of misery. So, if you're the type that chooses to be miserable, you might as well be rich, you know, take the edge off a little bit.
Right? Do it.
Yeah. But again, do people know that about you? Do people know that you have that goal, that you have the desire to make money? You got to put it out there. Put it out there. And by the way, your behavior needs to match what you say is important to you. Because people say, Winn, I want to make money. I want to be successful. Winn, I want that opportunity. I'm like, okay, cool. Then be here tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. And they show up at 8 o'clock. You're late. No, I'm not. You told me to be here at 8. You're late. Apparently you don't want that badly. If I say 8 o'clock, what time do you show up?
7:47.
7:30.
7:30, maybe even 7 o'clock. 7:45, that's cutting it close. Because who knows but that there's traffic? Who knows but that when you arrive, there's some challenge that you need to be the first to volunteer to help clean up and help fix, right? Which now makes you late. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. How bad do you want this? How bad do you want this? What are you putting out there in your words, in your conversations? Do you have a lot of gossip conversations? Because I'll tell you right now, if that's what you're choosing to engage in, gossip. And by the way, you may not be talking to gossip, but if you're standing there listening to the gossip, are you a participant?
Yep.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. Can gossip destroy someone?
Yes.
Well, that's kind of violent in a way. Do you agree? It's verbal violence. Gossip is verbal violence. And you're participating in that? Come on, you guys. You're so much better than that. Why would you have any behavior or activity that is stealing from you your potential? Divorce yourself from that. Now, I want to share with you the behavior of a visionary. Because I want people to play favorites with you. I want you to be attractive so that people take notice of you and want to give you opportunities. So here's the behavior. See, cool that you've written down your goals. That's such a small step in what it takes to achieve them. Okay? Now, your behavior needs to match what you say is important to you. Okay? So number one, visionaries are the first to arrive. They are the last to leave. You want to get noticed? Be the first to arrive and be the last to leave. Number two, visionaries never have the attitude of, that's not my job. Do me a favor, wipe out that sentence from your vocabulary. That's not my job. It's so ugly when somebody says that. For a visionary, everything is their job. This is the type of person who's out in the parking lot in front of the school picking up cigarette butts even though they don't smoke. Why? It has to be done. Somebody has to do it. Nobody asks them to. They just take care of it. Number three, visionaries say yes to everything. Visionaries say yes to everything. Let me put this into motion for you. So that means that you're going to say yes to student council, design team, take-home team, phase 2. You're part of the Be Nice for Else Club, Go Green Club, John Paul Pet Club, Quitters Club. You are part of the fundraising campaign. You enter Beacon, NAHA, you go to Caper. You are pursuing cutting honors, color honors, texture honors, makeup honors, dean's list. You say yes to everything. So let's say that you tell me your mentor is artistic director Stephanie Kachelski, and you would love a chance to assist Stephanie at a major show. So I hook you up. Stephanie buys you a plane ticket. The day before the show, she's meeting with you, and she's saying, okay, the fashion show starts at 10 o'clock. We have 20 models to prepare with hair and makeup and wardrobe. To get them ready in time, I need you here at 3 a.m. And you respond with, 3 a.m.? Does Stephanie want to hire something like that? No. She says 3 a.m. What time do you show up? 2 o'clock. And she says, you know what? You can come dressed casually in the morning. How do you come dressed?
Professionally.
Because all eyes are on whom? They're on you. When Stephanie gets on stage, all eyes are on Stephanie. Backstage, all eyes are on you. See, Stephanie could come late. Nobody cares. She already got the gig. She won't come late, but she could. She could come in sweats. Nobody cares. She got the gig. All eyes are on you. Now you show up and say, well, I'm here, but don't expect me to be happy about it because, you know, we're in Vegas and I haven't been to bed yet. If you have a 2 o'clock call time, what time are you in bed the night before? You watch Golden Girls, you're in bed by 6 o'clock. I don't care how young you think you are. If you don't get at least 8 hours of sleep prior to a major career-changing opportunity, are you at your best? No. Now who are you cheating? Yourself. Who else are you cheating? Stephanie. She relied on you. She put faith in you. But you turned it into a party night the night before? Come on. Really? Really?
Cheating all the models.
You're cheating the models, the audience, the production? Yeah. This is what it takes to get noticed. This is what it takes. One of my mentors, Marianne Williamson, used to say that she hated high school because she felt like high school did not prepare her for the real world. But then she got out into the real world and realized, just like high school.
Hey.
Don't you sometimes find that that's how it is? Maybe even sometimes here in the school, we're all grown adults, and yet some people are acting like they're still in high school. Well, she started it. High school. See, high school was, tell me the rules around here so that I can break them. Because I'm a rebel. I'm cool. I'm a rebel. That was cool in high school. Is it cool now to be a rebel? No. It's gross, isn't it? It's like, I'm on Tool Academy. Grown men acting like stupid idiots, right? It's not pretty. So people are trying to like sneak around the time clock. They're trying to forge signatures on the worksheet. Ooh, look at me, I'm a rebel. Really, who are they cheating? Themselves. Come on, you guys, be a visionary. Be a visionary. The second category, who knows what it is? Come on, you guys, you need to know this information, because guess what? It's not just my job or Micah's job to stand up and share this information. You guys, I want each one of you to know this information and become motivational speakers. So you're going to go home tonight, you're going to wake up your roommate and say, visionary behavior, let's talk. Because they need to hear it from you, yes? Fence sitter is the second category. This is the type of person who on any given day could go either way. Some days they're for you, some days they're against you, you never know. As a business owner, I sometimes stand at the front door watching my employees arrive to work in the morning, and I'm thinking to myself, gosh, I wonder which way she's going to go today. Is she for me today, or is she against me today? Their commitment is tied to their emotions. Like when they just happen to wake up in a really good mood, they love Palm Beach School. When their second moon is rising over Jupiter, they love it here. But when their Uranus is stuck and dragging out of bed in the morning, forget about it. You know, we would love to assume that most people are visionaries. Truth of the matter is, most people are fence sitters. By the way, that could be good news for you, because if you really are a visionary, you really do have the passion, the desire, you've written down the goals, your behavior is there, you're the first to arrive, last to leave, you say yes to everything, you're going to get noticed. You will get noticed. What's the third category? A resistor. A resistor. This is the type of person who brightens up her room by leaving. This is the person who quit school 6 months ago. They just haven't left yet. Oh, this is the person who's walking around school every single day with their imaginary clipboard. Like they truly think it's their job to find all the problems around here. Let me ask you something. If you spend your nights in this school looking for problems, what will you find? Problems. You'll find them. You'll find them. And then you're going to go home feeling how every single night? Miserable, tired, bitter, dumped on. Or you could spend every single day, every night in this school looking for reasons to celebrate. What will you find? Celebrations. And you'll go home feeling how every single night? Happy. Motivated, energized. You can work a 12-hour day in the salon and go home feeling energized. You guys, life's a choice. What are you choosing to focus on? The problems or the celebrations? Years ago, we had a future professional come to our school in Provo by the name of Angie. At 16, she was in a car accident, paralyzed from the waist down, in a wheelchair. Her dream, though, was to become a hairdresser. So get this, she moved from Idaho to Utah to attend my school, lived by herself, went to physical therapy every single morning from 5 to 7, worked a full-time job as a receptionist at a car dealership from 8 to 4, then came to night school 5 to 10, 4 nights a week, full clientele, student body president at night, on the design team, went to 2 different capers, 1 beacon, entered NAHA, graduated early with perfect attendance, always, always happy. And once I pulled her aside and I asked her, I said, Angie, don't you ever get depressed? She said, you know, I tried it once. I didn't like it very much. Okay, for me, that's a mentor. Because I don't know about you guys, but for me, a little belly ache makes me want to clear a spot to have a pity party for myself, right? Where some of you break a nail, and anybody within a mile radius of you is going to suffer. What Angie teaches me is that life is a choice. How many of you heard that before? It's a choice. She tells the story. Picture this. She's 16, laying in a hospital bed, being faced with the possibility that she may never walk again. And she said, laying there, she knew that she had a choice to make. The choice was she could either get bitter or she could get better. Bitter or better. Bitter or better. That's like a mantra that I have now. I repeat that to myself a lot, especially having a difficult day. Come on, Winn. Bitter or better. Bitter or better. Like somebody flips me off in traffic and I'm like, bitter or better? It's a choice. It's a choice. Now, some of you, maybe something happened to you yesterday. Like maybe yesterday you had a fight with somebody, and yesterday, because of that fight, you chose bitter, and 24 hours later you're still carrying that bitterness around with you. Maybe something happened to you 5 years ago. And maybe 5 years ago, a nasty divorce. A friend stole money from you. You got fired from a job that you loved 5 years ago, and you chose bitter. And you're still carrying that bitterness around 5 years later. What does that do to your health? What does that do to your relationships? Do people want to be around something like that? You know, I truly believe, listen up, I truly believe this, that tonight can be the night that you decide, I don't want to carry that bitterness around anymore. I'm willing to feel something different. I truly believe tonight could be the night. It's that easy, which doesn't mean that it's simple. Does that make sense? When you think about it, the seed will turn into a flower. An embryo turns into a baby. Planets revolve around the sun. There is an intelligence out there that makes all of that happen, correct? And by the way, your vote doesn't matter. Your opinion with all of that doesn't even matter. Can you look at that seed and say, I dare you not turn into a flower? It's going to happen anyway. Your vote didn't matter. Well, guess what? If there is an intelligence out there that can turn an embryo into a baby, I bet that same intelligence can take on the things that you're struggling with right now, including overcoming that bitterness. What you need to do is to be willing. Call it a prayer, call it whatever you want. but you send out a message. I've been feeling this bitterness and I don't want to feel it any longer. I'm willing to feel something different. You don't need to know what the first step is. I was teaching a couple years ago on the East Coast, and I was at our school in Charlotte, North Carolina. And a future professional at day school then came back to night school to hear my exact same speech. A couple months later, I get this email from him. And he says in this email that when he was 14 years old, he went to his mom and said, "Hey, Mom, I'm gay." Mom says, "Son, that's okay, I don't care, but you need to tell your father." He tells the father kicks him out of the house. He goes and stays with the family down the street. The mom, a couple of days later, gathers her senses, goes and retrieves her little boy, comes back to the husband and says, "He will always be my son. You will not always be my husband. I want a divorce." The husband leaves the next day for what is supposed to be a 2-week work trip. And the mom thinks this is her chance to find a new apartment, pack up, and get out of there before he gets home. He comes home early, catches them packing up the house, grabs a baseball bat, and tries to kill them both. The boy was in a coma for 2 weeks. The mother has had over 30 surgeries. They catch the husband, and he goes to prison for 15 years. Now it's 20 years later. So now he was 34 years old and a Palm Mitchell future professional. And in his email to me, he said, "Winn, 20 years ago, I chose bitter." And who would blame him? He said, "But because of that, it's ruined my health. I ruined relationships. I get fired from jobs all the time." He said, 20 years later, I'm still this victim. He said, "I don't want to feel that way anymore." Tells me that he tracks down his father, who's now remarried, lives in Atlanta, gets his father on the phone. And he said his father just apologized. "I'm sorry, son, I'm so sorry. Dad, I forgive you." Now, in this email to me, he said, "Winn, I'm never going to call him again. I don't need to see him and have a relationship with him. I didn't forgive him just for his benefit. It was more from my benefit. I needed to choose better." Now, again, you all have a story. And your story may or may not be as extreme as his story. It doesn't have to be. It's still your story, and it still has an effect on you. It still has an impact on you. Today's the day. Now, I don't mind sharing with you that for me, this stuff does not come naturally to me. Not at all does this stuff come naturally to me. In fact, I don't even mind telling you that being happy does not come naturally to me. To some people, happiness does come naturally to them. To me, my whole life, even to this day, it never has. You know what? That used to piss me off. Because I used to think, okay, how many more seminars do I have to go to on self-esteem? You know, how many more books do I have to read? Why can't I coast once in a while? Do you know what? I can't. I know that there are certain things that I have to do every single day just to be happy. How many of you can relate to this? Look around, it's most of us. See, I used to be the type of person who believed that some people are meant to be happy, but not me. You know, some people have blue eyes, I have brown eyes. Some people were born to naturally be happy, but I'm not lucky enough to be one of those people, and there's nothing I can do about it. I truly believed that until I was well into my 20s. But then fortunately, I got connected to this incredible circle of friends, and they started introducing me to these wonderful mentors. Let me tell you something. What these mentors taught me to do way back then, this was huge for me then. It is still huge for me today. Before I share that with you, let me remind you that you all said it is our God-given right to be happy. It's every human being's God-given right. Remember that? Well, if that's true, then when we're not happy, when we're not meeting up to our potential, that must mean that there's something that we are doing or not doing that is blocking the flow of happiness, because it's supposed to come our way. So what my mentors taught me to do was to get rid of the things that were blocking that flow. I call those things garbage negative programming. And by the way, I don't know anybody who couldn't use a little bit more happiness. It's not like you wake up one day and say, you know what? I have plenty of happiness, no more, thank you very much. So who's on this journey with me? Who needs more happiness? Come on, who's with me? Yeah. Now, for some of us, it takes a little longer than it does for others to get there, right? Like some people meet and marry their high school sweethearts, and they're blissfully married the rest of their lives. Like my parents celebrated 71 years of marriage. Isn't that great? I know people who can't keep it going for 71 days.
Hey now.
Yeah. But then some of us have to date a couple of idiots along the way before you find out, am I the only one here? Oh yeah, okay. Scream it out, sister. It's like group therapy. Yeah. So here's what my mentors taught me. To divorce myself from this garbage negative programming. Let me give you some examples of this. If you were to be honest with us, how many of you would admit that there are some negative reality TV shows that you watch, and these shows don't have the nicest people nor the nicest messages, but hey, you watch them anyway. How many of you would admit to this? Okay, what are the names of these shows? Yell it out to me. What are the names? Bad
Real
Girls
Housewives.
Club, Kardashians, Love and Hip Hop, Real Housewives of every city.
New Jersey.
Yeah, I put them all under the Jerry Springer umbrella. Because I think Jerry Springer was the first that many years ago started this negative genre of reality shows. Now you guys, I'm the same as all of you. So I could be at home and I could be alone, so nobody really knows what I'm watching. But I'm flipping the channels and I make a choice, because life's a choice, that I'm going to stop just for a minute on Jerry Springer. So I'm watching a show and I'm like, hit her! Hit her!
Who said that?
You know what? I'm not that strong. I know, I just can't go there. Remember, I struggle with my own happiness every single day. So for me to think that I can spend even 1 minute watching a TV show with a bunch of miserable, that would be like an alcoholic saying, I can stop at the bar just for a minute. No, you can't. And I can't stop on Jerry Springer for a minute. I'm not saying that you can't watch TV, because, I can't make it through the day without Golden Girls. But you have to make a choice. What do you need to divorce yourself from? Now, my book is called Be Nice, but my book could be called How to Be Happy. Because let me ask you a question. A mean, nasty person, are they happy or unhappy? So all those people on all those reality shows that you're watching, are those people happy or unhappy? Unhappy. But then what do? You invite them right into your living room to hang out with you, your family, your friends. Oprah, we love Oprah.
Oh God.
Years ago, she did a show on domestic violence. So here's Oprah using her power. Oh, by the way, you all have power too. Do any of you have 100 Facebook friends? Anybody have that? Okay, well that's your audience. That's your audience. Now, Oprah's audience is maybe a little larger than yours.
Just a little bit.
But you have an audience, correct? You have influence and power over your audience, correct? Yeah. So let me ask you, how are you influencing your audience? Are you running a little Jerry Springer show on your Facebook page? That idiot at school, what she did to me, I'm going to get her back, right? Is that what you're doing? You spewing poison to those Facebook friends? Look at it this way. How you will make money in the beauty industry is by having hundreds of people pay you money on a regular basis for you to help them look good and feel good. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes. But you can't even get it right with your Facebook friends. You can't even make them feel good every single night. Why would the universe reward you with a profitable clientele if you can't even make these Facebook friends feel good about themselves? Make sense? Here's my challenge to you, and I'm very, very serious about this. I want you to go home tonight, and I want you to delete every negative thing off of your social networking sites. I've had some people say, Winn, the whole thing was so negative, I just shut it all down. Closed it down, took a month off, and I started a new page later on and swore that I would only post positive things. Go to my social networking site. You will never see anything negative. Ever, ever, ever. Do I have bad days? Yeah. Do I go off the deep end? Yeah. Will you ever see that side of me? No. Has Micah seen that side of me? Yes. But I'm safe with Micah, right? I'm safe with Micah. I'm surrounded by the right people who protect me. Micah's like, come on, Winn, what are you doing? Come on. You're better than that. You forgot who you are. And I'm like, oh, you're right, you're right. He keeps me safe. You keep that stuff private. and to the public, you send out a wonderful, positive, encouraging message. How many of you will take on this challenge? Yeah, so here's Oprah using her power, educating millions of people on how to eliminate domestic violence in this country. Jerry Springer, he has power too. Does he use his power to eliminate domestic violence or to promote it?
Promote.
To promote it, and yet some of you may watch his TV show or similar shows, which means you too are contributing to this major epidemic of domestic violence where 1 in 4 women are being abused every single day. You're contributing to that. How's that feel? You know, there was a popular saying in the 60s that if you're not part of the solution, part of the problem. How many believe that that's true? Yeah, if you're not part of the solution, well, that means you're part of the problem. Part of the problem means you're watching those shows. If you watch Jerry Springer, does that mean that you're helping to pay his salary? You're paying the salary of someone who promotes domestic violence. How's that feel? You guys, you divorce yourself from that stuff. How many of you would admit that maybe there are some people in your life that are pretty negative? They might gossip a lot. They might put people down a lot. In fact, they might even put you down a lot, but you still hang out with them. How many of you would admit to that? Okay. This coming November, I will celebrate 13 years clean off of drugs.
Yeah.
Now, the day that I decided to get clean, could I still hang out with the people that I had that drug lifestyle with? No. Could I still just call them on occasion and say, hey, what's up? Could I still do that? No. What did I have to do? Completely divorce myself from those people. Now, did I divorce myself from those people because I now feel like I'm better than they are? I'm not judging them? Is that why I divorced myself from them? No. I divorced myself from those people because I now love myself enough to stay away. I want you to love yourself enough to stay away from the activities, the behavior, the programming, the people who are compromising or threatening your self-esteem, your happiness. Again, it's messy out there. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, but Winn, that negative person you're talking about right now, I'm married to that person. I live with them at home. It's my mom, it's my dad, it's my sibling. Winn, are you saying that I have to go home tonight and say, Winn said to stay the hell away from you?
Oh, God.
Is that what I'm saying? No. Now,
Liar.
listen up. Here's the deal. If there's abuse with this person, I don't care who they are, you get away. But that's not what I'm talking about tonight. This is a negative person. They're not abusive, but they're just negative. The glass is always half empty for them. Life sucks. Everything sucks. They have an opinion about all of it, and they're in your ear with it all the time. And you live with them. How do you handle that? Do me a favor. Go like this. Even you cool people, go like this. Okay, this is a reservoir. And this reservoir is filled with everything that makes you who you are. Everything that makes you wonderful. So this reservoir is filled with your dreams, your personality, your talents, your skills, your desires. Do you ever feel sometimes that at the end of the day, that reservoir is drained and empty? Uh-huh. How does it get drained? Theory tests.
Oh, yeah.
Too
Come
many
on.
bills, not enough money. Traffic, bad weather, gossipy students, complaining guests. All of these things will drain your reservoir every day, correct? Having a full clientele, 20 guests in a day will drain your reservoir because you're putting out so much, you're giving them so much. So my concern is how do you fill this back up? And by the way, what works for her in filling up her reservoir is very different than what works for him. But you have to know what works for you. You have to know what works for you. Bottom line, everybody, here's the big question. Whose job is it to fill up your reservoir? Whose job is that?
Yours.
It's your job. Nobody owes this to you. It's your responsibility. Whose job is it to make you happy? It's your job. You're so upset because so-and-so won't send you flowers. Send yourself some flowers. This is your responsibility. And see, when you blame other people, it's their fault that I'm not happy. It's their fault that I'm not reaching my potential. Who are you blaming right now? Your mom? Your boyfriend? President Obama? When you blame somebody, you give your power away. Take that power back. I'm responsible. And if you break that down, I am response-able. I am able to choose my response to this situation. Yeah, what that person did to me, that was wrong. But I'm not a victim. I choose better. I choose this response to that situation. So today's the day that you can make those decisions, you guys. So here's what my mentors taught me. Before I move on, anybody have any questions? Anything at all? Doesn't matter what it's about. It doesn't have to be with this stuff. Yes, sweetheart.
So my big thing is, I have a lot of negative friends per se, but I feel like I don't want to turn my back.
Right spot in their entire existence, right? And all of a sudden you abandon them, they might go over the deep end. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, look at that. Like you're going to hang out with these people. You know that they're negative. You know that they're going to drain you. Look at it like it's a cold. If you had a cold coming on, what would you do? You would load up on what? Vitamin C. Vitamin C. So okay, they're like a cold. If I'm going to hang out with them, I got to load up on a whole bunch of vitamin C. This thing has got to be flowing over because I know they're going to drain this. They're going to zap me dry, okay? And so maybe you need an extra boost of the gym that day. You need more fresh flowers in your house that day. You need to call your mom and have a great conversation. Go to lunch with the best friend who uplifts you. You need to, whatever that looks like, that fills up your reservoir, which we're going to get into, to make sure that every time you're spending time with those people, you're full. Does that make sense? Okay. I'm not saying abandon these people. That's not what I'm saying. Okay? Other questions? Anything else? Really nothing. I'm that good. Yes, sweetheart.
What's your main source of motivation?
My main source of motivation? Today? Oh, that's easy. That's my daughter. Everything starts and ends with her. It's just, everything has changed. Doesn't matter what's going on in my life. To know that she's there at home, oh my gosh, bliss. Life is just bliss. And all your priorities change. My home is now Fort Knox. There are security cameras everywhere. So that changed as well. But I'm a product of my mentors. Okay, you guys, I'm not a big reader. I've never been a big reader. I wrote a book, but I don't read. Go figure. How I've always gained information is through my mentors. I've always sought out successful people. Like I have this friend of mine who loves reading books about serial killers. I'm like, why would you want to study that? I think it's fun. Never mind.
Hey.
I've studied successful people who have taken their lives and purposefully have done incredible things. Like my mom said when I was a little kid, how she got me to eat breakfast was to tell me that that's what Walt Disney ate for breakfast. I go, really? So I would eat it. Because I was like a fan of Walt Disney, a brilliant man who did wonderful things with his life. And I've always studied people like that. I've always been like a stalker of motivational speakers. Trust me, I stalk. Because for me, it's not enough to sit in the audience. I have to sneak backstage and meet them. I'm like, hi. Other questions? Yes? Great question. So, you guys, this is a true story. Now remember, when I entered the beauty industry, I'm not a hairdresser, no college education, no business experience, so I knew that I needed to get myself educated. And in 1985, I went to the IBS Hair Show in New York City. Like 50,000 hairdressers from around the world attend that show. So I buy a plane ticket, I'm at that show, I got my brochure of the show, and I'm like, okay, what class should I go to? There's this picture of a really pretty woman named Jean Bra. I'm like, oh, she's pretty, I'll go to her class. I sit in her class, there's 1,000 people in her class. And like everybody else in that audience, I fall in love with Jean Bra, right? But of course, it's not enough for me to sit in the audience, I have to meet Jean Bra. So I sneak backstage. I'm like, hi, Jean Bra. My name is Winn Claybaugh, and I'm a motivational speaker. I wasn't yet, but I told her that I was. I tell the truth in advance. So, I named myself as Jean Bra's personal stalker. A couple of weeks later, she's in Chicago. Of course, I'm in Chicago. I sneak backstage. Hi, Jean Bra, Winn Claybaugh. Oh yeah, you're that motivational speaker. Yeah, hi Jean, good to see you again. I'm following her around the country for about a year. Now she's in Los Angeles, and of course, I'm backstage hanging out with my buddy, Jean Bra. Well, at that show, something went wrong where the models weren't ready, something wasn't ready. Everybody's in a panic. There's 1,000 people waiting for the show to begin. Everybody's in a panic. Oh my gosh, what do we do? And Gene Braugh's like, I have an idea. Let's send Winn out there. He's a motivational speaker. This is true.
Oh, shit.
So my first gig as a motivational speaker with Paul Mitchell was as Gene Braugh's warm-up act. And by the way, they were not there to see me. They were there to see Gene Braught. So they sent me out onto that stage. How do you think I did? I was brilliant. Do you know why? Because I was ready. I had rehearsed the part over and over and over and over. Granted, it was in front of a mirror, but I rehearsed it over and over. Now, when they said, hey, Winn, you go out there, did I say, oh my gosh, I need to run home and change because I'm not dressed appropriately? Was I dressed appropriately? Yes, I was ready. See, a lot of people, they want the spotlight, and the truth of the matter is, if you got the spotlight, you might make a total fool of yourself because you're not ready. Practice the gig. You have to be ready for the opportunity. I was ready. And so that was my first gig as a Paul Mitchell motivational expert. How's that? Cool. Let's do one more question and then I'll move on. Anybody else have a question? What's that? What's your secret dream? My secret dream? Funny. Funny. Go on. I guess you mean like my goals and everything?
No, I want to be a comedian secretly. Like, what's your...
I thought I was. You've been laughing all night. I thought I was a comedian. You know what? I don't really know. I'm kind of doing it, you know? Tell you the truth, being a dad is just, that's a fantasy come true. So, how many of you are parents? So you know. And those of you who aren't parents, you think it's all cute and everything. Wait till it happens to you.
Not cute.
Oh my gosh. You're
Not
like,
cute.
what the hell was I missing out on? Why didn't you tell me it was going to be this incredible? Okay, I'm going to move on here. So here's what my mentors taught me to do. We're talking about this reservoir and the responsibility that we all have for our own happiness, for filling this thing up every single day, because we're going to take on those people, right? We're going to take them on. Here's what they taught me to do. Our lives are delicately balanced into 5 basic areas. So here is my PowerPoint presentation. Hey, we're on a budget. So yes, we are professional. That's why you're here. However, though, we are also physical. We are intellectual. We are emotional. And finally, spiritual. So the 5 areas are professional, physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. I love it in the beginning of a new year, because that's usually when people are thinking of making positive changes in their lives. Like there's people today that are like, yeah, this will be gone January 1. I promise. You watch me. I'm going to do it this time. Like January 2nd, the gym was packed. Not so much anymore. And I think that the reason why that happens, while we all have great intentions of improving ourselves in these areas, but then it falls by the wayside, is that we make this process a chore. We make self-improvement drudgery. I have to lose weight. I have to quit smoking. We have to learn those stupid finger waves.
Those are cool.
If it's a chore, are you going to stick with it? Are you going to be any good at it? No, I am the type of person that if I'm not having fun with something, I won't do it much longer. How many of you are the same way? Yeah, you guys, for me, I have to have fun. Now, just because something is not fun, does that mean that I have the option to not do it? No, what's my option, though?
Make it fun.
To make it fun. Life is a choice. Bitter or better. So I make things fun. So if they tell you that you're on towel duty, bitter or better?
Better.
Towel duty, me, really? Woohoo! This school's going to rock with towels.
If the washer could go faster.
You know, every once in a while, I'll hear a student say, oh, Winn, I don't like perms. I'm like, really? You're brand new and you already got a freaking opinion. Viv McKinder always uses our students to assist her at shows, photo shoots. A couple of years ago, she did a major photo shoot. 2 of my students assisted her at that shoot. Got picked up by a major consumer magazine. What was the foundation for the hair that Vivian did in that photo shoot? Perms. What would have happened had my students showed up and said, "Ew, Vivian, I don't like perms"? Next. So raise your right hand and repeat after me. I. Then your name. I.
Carlos.
Love perms.
Will love perms.
Sorry, you guys. You have to love it all. A bikini wax on a 90-year-old. No, never mind.
What? That's not cosmetology. I don't do that.
The first step to make things fun, mentors. Mentors make things fun for you. Why? Because mentors give you hope. If they did it, you could do it. So you need a whole bunch of mentors, one for every area. You need an artistic mentor, business mentors, right? A physical mentor. Maybe that's the person at the gym that they look incredible, they inspire you, but they are not your mentor when it comes to emotional relationships because, as you know, that person at the gym is sleeping with everybody. I'm just saying they're really good eye candy, but you don't date them. Don't date them. Don't date them. So you choose different mentors for the other areas. Be careful. Be very wise of who you choose as a mentor. Because sometimes you'll ask for relationship advice from your friend who's been divorced 3 times and now she hates men. That's not a mentor. Mentors are people who are successful in these areas. They lead the way for you. And the second step to make things fun, I love this one. Find people who want to play with you. Find people who want to play with you. By the way, not everybody wants to play with you. Are you okay with that? Yeah, let's say that you go to a class on nutrition, on wellness. You get all excited and motivated. You go home, make the announcement to somebody at home. That's it. I'm joining the gym. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to quit smoking. I'm going to get more sleep at night. And that person at home is like, whatever. It's not going to work. Remember the diet you went on last year? You gained 10 pounds. You remember that? This isn't going to work. And then you were like, oh yeah, you're right. Stupid me. What was I thinking? No, from now on, you just turn to that person and say, oh, so you're not excited about my new diet. Next! Is it your job to change them? No. Your job is to forgive them. Forgive them for not being the person that you think that they should be. They're doing their best in that moment just as you are. But then you move on and you find the people who do want to play with you. Practice the philosophy of SW, SW, SW. What does that stand for? Some will, some won't. So what? You don't want to play with me? So what? Move on. Find those people. Okay? So people will often ask me what are some of the things that I do to fill this up every single day. You know, I go to the gym about 6 days a week. But I'll be honest with you, I don't really naturally enjoy going to the gym. So does that mean that I have the option to not go? No. I'll be 70 years old when my daughter graduates from high school. I need to stay healthy and energized. Okay? So I'm at the gym 6 days a week. Okay? So since I don't really enjoy the gym, am I bitter or better at the gym? Better. How do I make the gym more fun? You guys, here's the answer. Cheat. Mentors. So do you want to go to the gym with somebody in better shape or worse shape than you?
Better. Worse.
The answer is better.
Oh. I'll go with worse.
Like worse is going to motivate you. Keep working out, you fat pig.
I feel like I'm better than you.
Long way to go. Better. If you want to get better at tennis, do you play with somebody better than you or worse than you? Do you want to stand and cut hair in the salon next to somebody better than you or worse than you? That makes sense? They did it, you can do it too. Second step, find people who want to play with you. Every time I go to the gym, I'm always recruiting people. Right, Micah? We're dragging every single time. Yeah. I was once at my school in Provo recruiting people from the school to go to the gym with me. 3 people said, yeah, they want to go. 2 students and a learning leader named Lois, who's like 60 years old. She's like, I want to go. Well, she had this new full-body pink leotard that day. Went from here to here to here, and she's running around the gym like this. She's like backwards, upside down, the wrong way on the machines. The trainers at the gym are like, what is that big pink woman doing over there? The 3 of us were laughing with Lois, and what happened? We had a great workout, and it was fun. You gotta make everything fun. I feel like I want to share this with you. A couple of years ago, George and I were traveling to our schools in Michigan. We landed in Detroit. We get to the baggage claim area, and there are 3 students in the baggage claim area with signs with our names on them, right? So we go up and we say, "Hi, we're Winn and George," and they're like, "Yeah, we know. We won a contest to pick you up." Woohoo! You win, you get to mow my lawn. Great contest. So, so I'm thinking, okay, they won this contest to drive us. I better make this drive time, really fun. So I'm like talking to them about their goals, etc. Well, we got stuck in traffic. By the time we get to the hotel, George and I only had 30 minutes to run upstairs, change clothes, come back down, head over to school, because there was a fundraising event at the school that night. So these 3 students wait downstairs at the hotel for us. We run up, we come back down, I jump in the car, and the second I get in the car, I can smell the cigarette smoke. And I was like, all right, who smoked? And the girl driving turns to the 2 boys in the back seat. She's like, it was them. She raps them out. It was them. I'm in the front seat, so I turn to one of the kids in the back seat. His name is Sean, the student. Sean, why would you do that? I'm the dean of Palmetto Schools. We just met. I can do incredible things for your career. But the first impression you want to give to me is that you got this going on, and now, by the way, that smell is all over me, and I have to hug a bunch of people tonight at this event. Sean, why would you do that? Now, Sean is in the back seat shrinking. He's like, I have never felt more guilty in my entire life. And I'm like, nobody has ever made you feel guilty for smoking cigarettes? He's like, no. I said, well, here I am. So we go to the event that night. Get this, his parents are at the event that night, okay? They come up to me afterwards. They're like, hi, we're Sean's parents. What did you say to our son, Sean? Because he just gave us all of his cigarettes and said that he's never going to smoke again. I'm like, cool. So this was in March. I stay in touch with Sean. In April, he's still a non-smoker. May, he's still a non-smoker. And I tell them, if you stay a non-smoker, by July, I will fly you out to Las Vegas, and you will assist backstage at the Gathering, which is a show for 3,000 hairdressers. And he did it. So now here we are in Las Vegas, and I'm curious about how he quit smoking, because I've never been a smoker. I had to quit other things, but I've never had to quit that, so I'm always curious, and I always ask people, so Sean, how'd you quit? Did you take a pill? Did you do hypnotherapy? Like, how'd you quit? He said, well, you told me to quit, and so I did. What? He said, Winn, you're my mentor. I love you. You told me to quit, and so I quit. Let me tell you something. What that taught me. How many other times did I think it, did I feel it, but I didn't speak it? And I share that with you because I know that you have friends and family members who have behavior that is hurting them. And yet we don't say anything. We need to speak our hearts. So I got to speak my heart tonight. For those of you who smoke, it breaks my heart. You're so much better than that. You're in an industry of wellness, of beauty. I want to love you for the process of quitting. Is there anybody here that used to be a smoker and now they no longer are? Okay? Tell you what, stand up. Stand up. Stand up. You 3. Okay? Here's what I've learned. Is we sometimes associate pain to quitting and joy to smoking. If I quit smoking, that will be painful because I'll gain weight. I won't look cool. I'll have more stress because this is a stress reliever. So it'll be painful if I quit. We have to switch that around. You have to attach joy to quitting and pain to smoking. What was the joy of quitting for you? When your grandmother died of lung cancer, so you did it. Wow. Give her a hand, you guys.
Go Kelly!
The joy of quitting. Really loud so they can hear you over there. The joy of quitting.
My joy of quitting was I just wanted to live a healthier lifestyle and started a page.
Congratulations. The joy of quitting.
My joy of quitting was, I guess, I always feel that I miss things because when you smoke, you have to leave places.
Right.
So now I'm always around.
Have a seat, y'all. Yeah, Ruth Rose, who's a good friend of mine, is very famous in the beauty industry. It took me like 10 years to get her to quit smoking, and I was always on her. She said that, she'd be like at a show, and everybody wants to talk to her because she's famous, right? So she's talking to you, you say like, what's she really thinking about? Gotta smoke, gotta smoke, gotta smoke, gotta smoke. She said she missed out on thousands of conversations because of that. Yeah, how many of you have kids? Okay, do kids do what their parents do? How many of you want your kids to be smoking? Yeah. Okay, so here's the challenge. How many of you smokers would love to become a non-smoker? Go ahead and stand. Come on, stand. Come on. Come on. Let's see you.
I believe in you.
Let's give them a hand. Other things that I do to fill up my reservoir, I call my mom every single day. And when my dad was alive, he again passed away 3 months ago. I call my dad and my mom every single day. My dad was 88 when he passed. My mom is 87. How much longer am I going to have that chance? Lisa Gibbons kind of taught me that, because Lisa's mom passed away 6 years ago. But Lisa will tell you that she really lost her mom in 1999 to Alzheimer's, and how it just broke her heart, knowing her mom was still alive, but she couldn't connect with her. Her best friend couldn't connect with her anymore. And so I connect with my parents every single day. One of my mantras is no regrets. I want to live a life with no regrets. Now, years ago, I had a life that was full of regrets. I regretted that drug addiction, and one of the things that I also regretted many years ago was that I didn't have a relationship with my father. Well, he and I figured that out a long time ago. But I remember years ago complaining to a friend of mine, my father doesn't love and accept me for who I am. I was going on and on about this. And my friend finally stopped me and he said, you know what, Winn? He said, you don't accept and love your father for who he is. And I was like, huh? Winn, you're so angry because you think your father doesn't love and accept you for who you are, and yet you don't love and accept your father for who he is. And I was like, no, you don't understand. You see, I'm the child, he's the parent, it's his job to love and validate me. My friend was right. And again, my father and I, we figured that out, and for the last 12 years, had an incredible relationship. And I was by his side when he took his last breath. And I have no regrets. Obviously, very sad, but no regrets. I was teaching at our school in Modesto, and I'm not sure why he was there, but the chief of police from Modesto was at the Palmerston School that night in my class. And afterwards, he pulled me aside and he said, Winn, I heard what you said about no regrets and the story about your father. He said, I want you to know that my 80-year-old father lives 5 minutes from my home, and I haven't seen him in 5 years. He said, but because of what you said tonight, I'm getting in my car right now, and I'm driving straight to my father's house. And then he took off his chief of police pen and he gave it to me. I don't know what that means. I think it means if I get pulled over, I just have to go.
Leave me alone.
See, the cool thing was, he didn't say, I'm going to try to find some time next month to go see my dad. He said, no regrets. I was teaching at a school and a student came up to me afterwards and she said, Winn, I'm 17 years old and not once in my entire life has my father ever told me that he loves me. She said, but guess what? I've never told him either. But I'm going to tonight. Isn't that cool? I think a lot about September 11th and the lessons that we learned that day. There were people on a plane or in the towers who all of a sudden they knew that they had a small chance to make a phone call. Now here's the deal. They didn't call their boss to say, how dare you not give me that raise. They didn't call a family or an enemy to fight it out again. They called a loved one, oftentimes a family member, and they only had one message. What was the message? I love you. Nothing else mattered. Nothing else mattered. Well, why today do so many other things matter to you right now that you supposedly have to get done ahead of making those connections on a daily basis, expressing that love to those people in your life? Now, do I get it right with every single person? No, but I'm working on it. I have a list. How many have a list? I'm like, Dad, check. Mom, check. I'm going down my list. I'm getting it right. I'm cleaning up those relationships. Can I say that my parents are my mentors when it comes to relationships? Again, 71 years of marriage, and still with romance, kindness, humor. How my dad looked at my mom that's his high school sweetheart. He married her when she was 16, he was 18, and he vowed to take care of her for the rest of his life, and he did. Like, they'd both be sitting there watching TV. My mom would go up to get something because she needs something. My father would see that. He'd be like, Jeannie, sit down. I'll get it. I said I'll get it. My mom would sit back down and she would be like, hee. I swear she would still blush like she was 16 again every time he treated her that way. Just like romance. How many want that? Well, are you hanging around people right now who want that for their marriage as well? And support you in a monogamous, healthy relationship? Don't take this the wrong way, but we don't socialize with other couples who cheat on each other. It's not a judgment. It's just that marriage is hard. And we only want to be with other couples who want the same thing for their marriage that we want for our marriage. Again, who influences you? Be very clear about who you're spending time with. Can I tell you that my parents are also my mentors? Wait, I want to tell you a funny story. So they came to visit. I live in Southern California. And so I'm taking them back to the airport, LAX, which is a very busy airport. So, here's the curb where you check your baggage and everything, right? So in cars, because it's so busy, we'll park like 3 or 4 cars deep to get their passengers and the luggage out, right? So I'm parked way over here. I run to the back seat where my father is. Here, Dad, let me help you out of the car. No, son. I can get out on my own. Okay, Dad. Takes forever. Okay, Dad, well, I'll help Mom out of the car. No, son. That is my sweetheart. I help your mother out of the car. Okay, Dad. Takes forever. So I get their bags out of the car. I'm blocking 4 other drivers who can't leave while this is going on. These other drivers are now out of their cars, and they're hanging out with me by the back of my car, and I'm like, I am so sorry. And this woman was like, are you kidding? This is so romantic. There's my parents teaching about romance at LAX.
Mushy.
They're also my mentors when it comes to aging, because our society has some real issues about growing old. People don't want to grow old. By the way, what's the alternative to growing old? Dead. You're dead. It's not Botox. You're still old. You're just... Yeah, the alternative is death. And I don't get that. Why would people hate getting older when actually they want to get older? Why would you hate something that you actually want? Does that make sense? Like they hate turning 30 and 40. You need to love getting older. Embrace it. And my parents are great mentors. Like, we value old wine, old art. What's the one old thing that we don't value? Our old skins. Right? You need to embrace that.
I say milk.
And so my parents, they're great mentors. They thought growing old was hilarious. Like, I bought them, those tubs where you just open the door, you sit down, and it fills up with water? I want one, by the way. Because they had a regular traditional tub. And apparently, on 2 occasions, my father got into that regular tub, and he couldn't get back out. So he calls for my mom to come and help him. Well, my mom is short, my dad was tall, and my mom is the type of person who laughs when it's very inappropriate. She's uncomfortable. Like, if I fell off the stage right now, she would laugh, like, Mom, really? So she's trying to help my dad, she starts cracking up, right? Which means now she's no help. So then, they called the neighbor.
Oh, God.
So I'm picturing my naked, wrinkly dad, Mom cracking up over here, and this poor neighbor trying to help him out of the tub. I'm like, you know what? I'm buying you a new bathtub. They have a dog named Nick, and Nick was sick. To give a dog a pill, you have to wrap it up in a piece of meat, right? So Mom prepared that, turned around, it was gone. Dad ate it. And she couldn't wait to call me. That's what your dad just did. They hate this stuff, it's funny, right? Oh, they get this. My father, for the last year of his life, was into telling jokes about old people. So can I tell you one? Okay.
Go for it.
So there's this old lady who decides before she dies, she wants to have one more husband. So she puts an ad in the personal columns that she wants a husband who won't beat her, won't run out on her, must be good in bed, please apply in person. A couple of weeks later, the doorbell rings. She opens the door. There's an old man in a wheelchair. He has no arms and no legs. She's like, how are you going to be a good husband? He said, well, I have no arms, so I can't beat you. I have no legs, so I can't run out on you. She said, are you going to be good in bed? He said, I rang the doorbell, didn't I? Thank you, Dad. Also, get this. So I tell that joke to John Paul, and John Paul's like, oh, I have a joke for you. So here's John Paul DeJoria's joke. There's this woman, she's 50 years old, she goes to the doctor for a checkup, right? And the doctor's like, you know what, you look amazing for your age. In fact, you know what? You have the breasts of a 20-year-old. She's like, really? So she goes home and she's naked in front of the mirror looking at herself, and her husband walks in and he's like, what are you doing? She said, well, the doctor said that I have the breasts of a 20-year-old. And the husband said, yeah? What did he say about your 50-year-old ass? She said, your name never came up. Everybody stand. Put your stuff down and stand. Now, please avoid conversations right now, but I need for you to team up with one other person. It doesn't matter who, find a partner and then face them. It doesn't matter who, find a partner. It can't be three together as lovers, as co-workers, as father-daughter, in a relationship that is not working. Did you know that it only takes one person to change that? And by the way, who is that one person? It's you. You see, even if that other person doesn't want to change it yet, well, that's their stuff. Just worry about your stuff. See, if you're waiting for that person to accept your apology or even to apologize back to you, that would be like me buying you a shirt for your birthday, and if you don't wear it the next day, I'm mad, I'm angry. Was that a gift? No, it was a contract. This is a gift that you're going to give to people in your life. What I did, what I said, wasn't very nice. It's not who I want to be. Can we please start all over? That's a gift. What people do with your gift does not matter. You gave a gift, and now who's blessed? You are. How many of you would admit that maybe there is somebody that you need to do this with for real? Okay, cool. And by the way, when are you going to take care of that? November 1st? We got to get busy. Do me a favor. Stand one more time. Touch yourself wherever you like. And repeat after me. I'm a visionary.
I'm a visionary.
I create magic.
I create magic.
I make a difference in people's lives.
I make a difference in people's lives.
Now point to somebody else and tell them, oh, you're a visionary.
You're a visionary.
You create magic.
You bring magic.
You make a difference in my life.
You make a difference in my life.
Thank you, everybody.